Hello and welcome back to the Wasteland, everybody. Welcome back to New Vegas, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Bear Trap Fist, as well as we're going to be taking a look at another fist weapon, the Dog Tag Fist, because these ones are kind of their own unique weapon, and they sort of go together, even though they're not related at all. So this is just kind of the only place that this would fit. Let's talk about the Bear Trap Fist first. This is probably the strongest weapon that you can get in the Dead Money DLC, weirdly enough. Assuming that you're just going to Dead Money and only using this in Dead Money, it's actually really, really strong within that DLC. It has some issues outside of the DLCs. Let's go over the stats of the Bear Trap Fist and talk about why it's so strong in Dead Money. So the Bear Trap Fist requires 50 unarmed and 5 strength in order to wield. Not too much unarmed, not too much strength. You'll be able to do this with an unarmed character without too much trouble, especially even if you're running to Dead Money right away. You should be able to get 50 unarmed pretty quick. This one does 27 damage per hit, 30 damage per second. This one doesn't attack super fast, but it's okay, and it doesn't do high damage, but it's also alright. This one also has 27 crit damage, same as its regular damage. 1 times crit modifier, so normal crits. Costs 28 action points, which makes it so it's okay. It's not one of the best unarmed weapons, although it is really good to be using in VATS in Dead Money. This one weighs quite a lot for an unarmed weapon at 6 weight. Kind of makes sense since it is a bear trap that you just got roped around your arm. This one has 80 health, so not the highest, and this one has the unique effect of doing 2 times limb damage. That is a very important part for why this is so strong in Dead Money, because when you're fighting the ghost people, the only way you can permanently kill the ghost people is by ripping their limbs off. If you can't do that, then they aren't going to die permanently, which is kind of an issue. And if you do rip off limbs, it doesn't matter how much health that they currently have. If you tear the limb off, then you will kill them outright, which is really strong, especially for a weapon that does extra limb damage. On top of that, if you have high unarmed, you get access to other attacks inside of VATS, making it so the Bear Trap Fist in VATS, in Dead Money, is the strongest weapon in that DLC because you can kill the ghost people the most effective, and that's the main enemy that you're going to be fighting. Since aside from that, you're just going to have like rad roaches, which you can kill with anything, that doesn't really matter, and the radios to deal with, which, I mean, the police pistol will work just fine for that. However, once you get out of the DLC, then the Bear Trap Fist kind of just has regular stats, and it's less useful because instead of just tearing limbs off, you'll just cripple limbs easier than you already would. Which is still good, but it's not as good as just outright killing an enemy. For the pros of these weapons, this one does do extra limb damage. The Dog Tag Fist don't have this, but the Bear Trap Fist does, so that is really, really good for that specific role. It's also potentially a really strong early game weapon if you want to rush Dead Money. Dead Money is one of the more difficult DLCs to do, but if you can do it, Bear Trap Fist is okay at that, and it can work fairly well once you get back to the Wasteland. For the major cons of this, though, is that it does have low item HP. This one only has 80. The other Dog Tag Fists don't have a whole lot either, but they're better than the Bear Trap Fist. 80 health does make it so this can break fairly fast, and it has lowish stats all the way around, so it's going to fall off pretty hard once you get back to the Wasteland and once you can use other weapons. There is technically one other weapon that's stronger in Dead Money than the Bear Trap Fist, but that is the Fist of Rar, and you have to go out of your way to get that, and you wouldn't really know that unless you already knew it ahead of time, or you probably looked it up, where if you kill Rar and you take his hand and you take it to Dead Money, you can just make it there on a workbench, and then you have like one of the strongest unarmed weapons in the entire game that's already in a DLC where things have been toned heavily towards unarmed and melee to where they are much stronger. There are also quite a few perks that help out with these weapons. The usual type of perks. There's no individual perk that will buff these weapons, but Slayer is really good for increased attack speed, Piercing Strike so that you can punch through armor, Super Slam to knock down enemies is really nice, and Purifier to kill all the abominations. All of those are really good to have. For an overall rating for the Bear Trap Fist, I think I'd probably put this one into C tier on my tier list. It's okay enough. It's not really crazy. It would be S tier in Dead Money specifically, but outside of Dead Money, not so much. It's just not one of the best, so I think C tier overall is fine. There is technically a modified version of the Bear Trap Fist, but it doesn't change it that much. You can get one mod for this, and that is upgraded springs, so you get 3 more points of damage, which 3 more points of base damage does take you up to 30 damage, which is okay for an unarmed weapon, but it's still not a massive amount. So I'm not going to put up a new graphic on here because I think it would still be C tier. It's a little bit better than the Bear Trap Fist. It is better in the DLC, and importantly, you do need to get that upgrade while you're in the DLC. Not specifically buy it in the DLC, but you do need to unlock the blueprint for it while you're in the DLC, because otherwise you can't get it once you go back to the Wasteland. So that is an important thing. You have to do that. That's the same thing with all of the dead money items. If you need to get them there, you got to get them there. And if you need to get them upgraded, you also need to get them upgraded there, or at least get the upgrades there so you can buy them once you get back to the wasteland. Now let's move on to the dog tag fist, which is kind of a cool unarmed weapon. This one is a made weapon. You actually have to make this on a workbench, interestingly enough. So you need to get the schematic, and you will need to do an unmarked quest in order to get this. This one is going to the Camp Guardian Caves and helping out the private there. He will then give you this at the end of that quest, which is kind of high level because you will have to be fighting the lake larks, or you're more than likely going to be have to fighting the lake larks. So it's not really a great prize for what you get. You can then make this out of NCR dog tags. Just looking at them, it just looks like it'd be so easy to break your fingers punching stuff with those. So I wouldn't really recommend it if you're going to do that in real life, but I mean, it is kind of a cool concept in the game. So the dog tag fist requires 0 unarmed and 1 strength to wield, meaning any character can effectively wield these. This does 20 damage on hit, which is okay, 32 damage per second. These do actually punch fairly fast, so that's good. 20 crit damage, which is normal, 1 times crit modifier, normal crits. Costs 35 action points, so kind of high on the action points. I don't know why for these ones, but it is. This one weighs 3, which is a little bit heavier than what you kind of think it would be, but alright. And then this one has 100 item health. So these ones can break kind of quick. They're an okay unarmed weapon overall. There's nothing way crazy about them. I don't know of anybody that really is going to be using the dog tag fist because it's kind of a way to go to get this, and it's going to be kind of difficult. It would be much easier if you just went like right north of Good Springs and got Love and Hate. I feel like that would be just as difficult, but Love and Hate is a much better option than the dog tag fists. I don't really see a point in doing this. They are kind of cool thematically though. I would also probably put the dog tag fist into the low end of C tier. I don't think it's a crazy weapon in any way. I don't think it's a terrible weapon though either. I would say it's kind of bordering on D tier, but it still at least attacks fairly fast, and if you have all the unarmed perks, it's still going to feel pretty good, just like a lot of melee and unarmed weapons, so it has that going for it. There is a unique version of this too though, and that is called the Recompensance of the Fallen, and this one's actually much easier to get than the regular dog tag fist, so I'd recommend you just go and get that one. You can get this one at Cottonwood Cove. This one's at the Legion camp, and this can be found in the desk of the officer there. You just have to steal it, and then you have it. So the Recompensance of the Fallen is actually pretty easy to get, since you're probably going to be going that way naturally through the map, so you can just run right over there and grab it. You can actually just ignore everything and run and grab it, and it could be your first unarmed weapon if you want, which makes it decent, especially since you don't need to fight anything. This one requires 0 unarmed and 1 strength to wield, same as the regular dog tag fist. This one does 25 damage per hit, 48 damage per second, 25 crit damage, has a 1 times crit modifier, so no more crits. Also costs 35 action points to use, also weighs 3 weight just like the regular dog tag fist, but this one has 150 item health, so it has better item health overall. This one is just a straight upgrade to the dog tag fist, but since the dog tag fist is just kind of okay, this one is also just kind of okay. It's a little bit better. I would also probably move this one into the C tier on our tier list too. It's going to be higher up than the regular dog tag fist. Arguably better or worse than the bear trap fist that we've talked about. Maybe a little bit worse if you have the modded bear trap fist, since that one's doing more damage per hit. But they're all kind of these okay weapons. These are all just sort of alright. Tell me your thoughts on these weapons, the bear trap fist, the dog tag fist, and its unique variant. Do you guys enjoy these? Do you guys use them? I think they're kind of cool thematically, and the bear trap fist is really strong in dead money, but outside of that, I don't really use it, and I don't really use the dog tag fist either at really any point. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.